Ernst, let's go straight to the questions. Are you a Freemason?
I was in the Masonic Lodge for a while, then I left it.
Well, maybe you are a Satanist then, because your look is appropriate, the mask and everything is so black, don't you think?
No, I do not think so. I don't think I'm a Satanist. I was somewhat sideways attracted to the Illuminati, but at the same time, I was always on the side of my teacher. I tried to enter everywhere he directed me, but fortunately, I have never been a member of Satanist clans, and I hope I will never be. Because I think this is a very bad energy, swamp energy that strongly pulls down, and then it is very difficult to get rid of it.
In other words, to summarize, you are the Illuminati, right?
We'll figure it out along the way. Let's just say that initially, in order to be an Illuminati, you must somehow be close to the Freemasons, at least stand next to them. Then you can enter the Illuminati order. Well, yes, you are partly right.
From time immemorial, secret societies existed in the world, but very few people could say for sure what they were doing behind the closed doors. Legends are made about secret societies. Echoes of information are heard from secret archives. But truth can be truly told only in one single case, if you really were there. And did not just stand there, but really was, or continue to be included in such a society. Our project has made a truly unique movie for you. The History of Arne, Anatomy of Superpowers, and today you will see the end of this trilogy. For you to understand the scale, Ernst had to call his clan to approve the release of this movie. Watch it thoughtfully, watch it carefully. In this material, there is even more hidden between the lines than said in words. You will not find such material anywhere else, because no one has ever talked about it so openly. Here is our new movie, Illuminati and Freemasons, an Insider's Revelation.
Ernst, and after you passed the exam, was there some kind of rite of passage into the clan? Tell us how the rituals of joining this kind of secret society happen, because there are many different horror films about orgies, the blood of virgins, and other such things.
I know that all this blood of a virgin, the blood of children, it all happens in some Masonic lodges, but again, not in all. At least in our clan, it happened as follows. When I came, there were 3 representatives. Naturally, there is some kind of dedication, like for a knight, that is, you get down on one knee and someone holds an ancient knife over you. I even tried to make a similar one later. Similar videos with an ancient knife. Of course, I did not have an ancient knife, so I was lying a little when in the video. I said it was an ancient knife. Well, with such an ancient knife, I was christened, so to speak, and was named a member of this society. That is, there were no weird rituals. Well, again, the participants are also in a certain, let's say, state of mind. They talk to you beforehand and put you in a certain light trance. Because if you are initiated in this light trance, you immediately pre-installed with a certain set of energy, a certain set of simple siddhas, which can be used by you anytime then. That is like a key to this egregor. And there weren't any terrible rituals like the need to eat someone or kill. I don't know, I haven't seen this. I know that it exists somewhere. But I think that these are already relics of the past. We need to move away from this because now, in principle, everything can happen at a completely different level, even in a kind of remote initiation. Because in fact, the exam has already been passed. And, roughly speaking, it gives you access to the secret society. You can visit it and become already known. Members will somehow reckon with you. Well, the ritual itself was just a formality, just a dedication. There was a light trance. I think that if this had not happened, everything would have gone absolutely fine anyway. Therefore, the moment itself does not have such essential meaning.
You said you were christened, that is, was it something Christian?
Well, I called it christened. Roughly speaking, it was done with a sword according to some ancient customs. There is some kind of long knife, a dagger, with which they touch your head 3 times and then they pronounce certain words in Latin. Well, you know, such a tribute to fashion. Therefore, there is no mysticism in this whole ritual.
I understood you, Ernst, yes. In general, what are the responsibilities of a person in such clans? After all, most likely there are some duties that should be fulfilled, or am I wrong?
Well, again, varies from clan to clan. Are you talking about our clan or about everyone else?
Well, first of all about yours, but also about all of which we are allowed to talk.
For example, let's just say I don't receive money from my clan. On the contrary, I am investing in it. So I have to do certain courses, and everything went smooth until COVID-19. Because the pandemic slowed down all this very much, my duties. I had to engage in teaching, I had to engage in certain projects, in the development of certain new directions, to contribute. So where does the library of such an esoteric field come from? In fact, there is a big shortage of a real esoteric literature. You have to plunge into a trance, enter the egregore, and be able to extract information from the egregore. But the information is all received by images. The egregore does not speak with you at the level of symbols, letters, or numbers. Then you will have to transform it all in accordance with your knowledge into some kind of literature that people will be able to read further. That is, again, initially the master works together with you. Master teaches you to dive into this egregore. That is, again, all happens at the level of deep trance initially. First, an assistant works with you, that is your mentor. Then after a while, you work alone. At least my task was the description of a certain thing. I described it in Russian, then the text was translated. I didn't bother to do it in English, because I probably would not describe it correctly in English. Also, there is teaching of certain things for beginners, those who just joined. And there are still such elementary schools for those who want to try themselves in different things. After all, this is also an organization that helps to receive money thanks to education, so I also sometimes taught in it, but nothing more than that. Basically, you need to go to training camps. There are sometimes meetings at which certain decisions are made, at which certain votes are held, where you need to say something, express your point of view, if you are at a certain level of hierarchy. That means you have a certain number of votes given to you. I don't really have a lot of votes at the moment. Because for me, the goal was more to gain knowledge than, to have much weight in this clan. For example, Arne had 7 or 8 votes there. That is, his voice was correspondingly very high. If, for example, there were 3 members with 1 vote saying against Arne with 7 votes, then, accordingly, he would have won the voting.
Ernst, in this kind of clans, is there some kind of hierarchy that is a strict one?
Of course there is. The hierarchy is very rigid. Yes, of course.
Starting from the mentor or someone like that?
Well, there are not mentors, but founders, 3 founders, and they then choose their followers. It is very difficult to rise up from the bottom. That is, when you join, you are put in a certain niche. And you can only have a certain set of votes in that niche. But again, it depends on the level. For example, you may have 7 to 10 votes and stay on the 5th or 6th level. A person from the 2nd or 3rd level with 1 voice will be much stronger than you. So you see, there is a ratio of degrees. Additionally, everyone, let's say at a certain level, is gaining followers for himself. One may pull up from the bottom, but it's very difficult to rise up from the bottom on your own. That is, if you are invited from above, this is different. But if you were initially put on a 3rd level, and you want, for example, to get on the 2nd, then it is extremely difficult to do by yourself. But if a person from the 2nd level invites you and says, for instance, I want you to take my place after I leave, either because of retirement or for health reasons, I want you to take my position, then he already vouches for you, he already begins to teach you certain things. Well, the same happens in an ordinary organization. The vertical axis of power works the same way. You can be in the local chamber and never go to the supreme one or the regional one. Well, here it all looks about the same.
Ernst, Once, in a private conversation, we were talking about the seminars you attend and about the clan's library. Can you now, in this video, in this movie, can you tell something to the public on this topic?
Well, let's say the library has a pretty hard access. The library is not digitized. I'm often asked to share a book or, share a link. Seriously, friends, a link? There is only a copy machine, a Xerox. Maybe that is the wrong name. So the copier, and you have a limit in the number of pages. It means you cannot copy all pages you want. No photos can be taken. No phones are allowed. You can only get a certain access to one or another literature according to your level. That is, for example, if you want to read about the influence on the future, about the ability to change the future, but you do not have access to this, no one will give you information, so certain things you will not be allowed to copy. There is all, organized like in old libraries. A person comes and brings you the book, you sign the form and sit at the table. And the observers stand at the exit doors and do not allow anyone to leave. Although they may be acquainted with you or you may be an influential person, they will not let you go out. That is because the library is the heart of the clan. It has been developed for centuries. And if people will start distributing all this without certain access, without certain permission, then it will be a leak of information. And no one knows to what consequences it may lead. Not because members of the clan are afraid to lose it, but because it might fall into the wrong hands. Every access request is checked, and it is being checked for a continuous time. That is why no one can be accepted in a quick time. So that how it is, probably I do not have the right to tell the details about the library. But it is really amazing, really like wow. When you visit it, you can sense its power.
Can you tell us something more about the seminars you attend?
No, I cannot tell you about the seminars. I am forbidden to talk about it.
But at least in general, that are the seminars on some esoteric topics that are organized by the clan, or what are they?
Yes, of course. There are many different topics, but they are all of our branch, mostly about esoteric. By the point, other clans sometimes visit our seminars too. We meet them and get introduced to them. Once I even met one participant in the city I live in Salt Lake. He is from another clan and he occupies a good position. He is the director of some finance company. But when he joined the clan, he had a rather low position there, so firstly he worked as the assistant of someone from the clan, assistant of a person that was lower than him in the social status. That is an interesting thing. Well, at the seminars of our clan, they explain us certain things that are almost impossible to find on the internet. I really hope that someday the moment will come when I can really get the permission to share my knowledge, because for some information I sign non-disclosure. And sometimes people say that there is something more. And I know that there is indeed, but even if a person somehow got access to it, this does not mean I have the right to tell about it. Because I signed a non-disclosure agreement, therefore I have to somehow distance myself from these answers.
You once said that the invitation to these seminars looks like envelopes. Was it with faceted seals before?
Yes, the courier brings you a real envelope, moreover an embossed envelope. Well, now it does not have the seal, the one made of wax. While the envelopes are sealed, they really look very dignified. You open it and see that it is written directly by hand but with no seals. So there is an invitation in the letter and you can also confirm it by email. Whether you are planning to go or not, invitations are still being sent. This is probably a tradition they have for some reason. And it is quite an expensive tradition, because the courier delivers an invitation directly to you. Well, probably a courier bypasses certain cities, or there are a couple of couriers bypass certain cities. In fact, the seminars are not so often organized as you might think, not every week. It's just such a tradition, a tribute to fashion, that the courier brings these letters and hands them over to you. If you are not there, he is waiting for you, and until he finds you does not leave. There will be no such thing that he will pass a letter to your neighbor. She will open it and go instead of you.
Ernst, okay, let's talk with you about horror stories. I think a lot of people were waiting for this topic. Horror Story 1. It says that modern secret societies and secret societies want to enslave the world, to chip us all, make us slaves, and so on. We talked a little about this topic today, but about this specifically, what do you think?
With chipping, I think they overdid it a little. Because we already have chipping, every person has his own chip in his pocket, from which it is much more difficult to refuse. The fact is that if a chip is implanted against your will, it can be easily pulled out, it can be easily destroyed, and it's another matter if the chip is installed according to your own will. Now each person has one or two such chips at a time. If I'm wrong, throw a stone at me. You all have a mobile phone next to you. It works much better than any chip, because, let's say a chip is still a technology of the future. They have not yet been developed that much. That is why, well, yes, mainly of influence the way it is. The main idea is influence, of course.
Ernst. There is another rumor that absolutely all politicians, all presidents, all ministers, they are under the influence of secret societies, absolutely everyone. Is this true? What do you think?
It is true, yes, it is true, and I will tell you more. Basically, all of Europe, America, and part of South America. I say now, part of North America is under the influence of the Illuminati. Not Masons, because the Illuminati are Masons in principle. 90% of the Illuminati are Masons. But the Illuminati are more influential, and this is true for, I cannot say all politicians, but for majority, for probably 90% of them. And decisions are made at this, at the global level. And we can often see these decisions in life, the implementation of these decisions. Even the same war in Syria. You get the idea. I have no right to say this, but you understand what I wanted to say.
Well, Ernst, there is one more rumor. We are going to smoothly switch from wars to the strange rumors that aliens or reptilians are behind the secret societies, or I don't know, some aliens from Sirius, who in turn are already in control of secret societies. Have you ever seen a living reptilian in your life?
Well, let's just say I know that aliens exist, but I cannot say that they control clans. I have not seen the reptilians alive. I have not met them. Yes, the fact that alien beings exist on Earth is true, but that they specifically rule the clans is most likely not. I think this is all a little too much.
Off the record, Ernst. What do you think, off camera? Do aliens have secret clans?
I don't know for sure. Probably they do. Although it seems to me that they function a little differently. They do not function the way people do. That is, everything is in one single system. They switched to more...
That is like Hive, yes?
Yes, this is exactly how bees work. Moreover, they acutely feel the death of one member. That is, they immediately feel everyone. They immediately feel if someone leaves or someone appears. That is, their energy distribution is incredibly powerful. Not like people. People are not attached to each other. For example, you will be sent somewhere in the Arctic area or to the South Pole, and you will not feel what is happening to other people. If the apocalypse happens here, you won't know, but they can feel it. If something happens to one of them, there is an instant transfer of information.
Are you talking about the Greys now? Don't you talk about all the aliens in the universe?
Yes, I know there are naturally a lot of them in the universe, much more than we say.
Friends, last time in the middle of the video I told you about YouTube algorithms. And who is interested, switch on to the first video, the link will be at the bottom. But this time I'll just say simply, please leave any comment under this video. Whether you like it or don't like, how do you like our trilogy of films in general? This will allow our film to move forward in trends. And we can understand your general mood. Did you leave a comment? Thank you, friends. Let's continue watching. Good, Ernst. But there is another rumor that secret societies have their own coordination center. For example, like the Bilderberg Club and other clubs, some kind of coordination council of the elders or something like that. In general, in your opinion, does this take place or not?
No, every society, every clan lives its own life separately. And there is no single general and coordinating council. This is what I know for sure. At least we do not belong to anyone. And the so-called Assembly of the Elders, for example ours, is absolutely independent of the others. Well, for example, if the ecosystem does not suit us, we can get together and move to another country. Well, at the moment everything suits everyone. But if something happens, political system will change or the revolution start, no one will be able to keep us. That is, in fact, all we need to transfer is just the library. Everything else can be built because there is quite considerable money in this society. Such money allows you to buy a big island somewhere in the ocean. Therefore, let's just say there are no special problems there. But the management of all clans does not exist. This is all fiction.
Ernst, but we cannot escape personalities. I know that you cannot talk about persons, but we will play a small game, where while indicating the name and surname of a person, we will turn off the screen and turn off the sound. And you will tell in 2 words whether he is in a clan or not in a clan. Persons will be quite famous guys about which...
Stop. The question is, which clan are you talking about now?
In any clan...
That is, not in ours? I definitely have no right to talk about ours.
I understand. At least in general terms, do they have any relation to the world of secret knowledge?
Okay, the only thing that I should also note is that I do not have complete information about all members of all societies. You also need to understand that if I were someone called a profiler, then of course I would know. I don't have... Well, let's try at least.
Ernst, but before that I would like to formulate a simple general question. In your opinion, whom in these clans are more politicians or musicians, artists, directors, businessmen in percentage terms?
Well, there are naturally more businessmen, at least those who are involved in financial mechanisms. More of them probably in the first place than there are still representatives. Of the musical stage, singers, musicians, actors. But again, here you must also understand such a thing that there is a level structure. It is important at which level a person is admitted. That is, if you say, for example, that you are in the society of the Illuminati and you are so cool, but in reality as a person you are nothing like that. In our society, the esoteric level of a person is very important. In other societies, the financial situation is very important, so to say. Well, the glory itself is also partly plays role, yes. But for example, I know some musicians who became famous only after joining the clan. Because, as I already said, for example, the same Facebook was financed by a certain structure. So the recognition by other people, the promotion starts after a certain dedication. That is what I am leading to. It is not that societies want to get celebrities into their ranks, but often celebrities become celebrities after joining. That is, there are already well-established communication system, and it becomes much easier to break through to the top.
Well, naturally, do they begin to fulfill the terms of the started contract?
Some certain tasks, yes. The tasks that have influence on society, influence on the minds of people. This is again the transfer of some information that is... Well, let's try and then we'll look further.
Ernst, look, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Does know something?
Well, he doesn't know now, but he knew, yes.
Well, knew something.
He was in the clan, yes. I will not go into the details and tell in what clan, but he was.
Somewhere. I understand perfectly. Does know something?
No.
Nothing at all?
No, I mean he is in the Masonic clan. What do you mean by knows? Whether he knows something or is he a member of a clan?
Well, does he have the contact with something esoteric?
Ah, yes. Then yes, he is in the Masonic lodge.
It seems to me too that the energy is rushing from him.
That is, I just did not understand the question of whether he knows. For me, the knowledge is a different concept. My teacher knew, but do they know? That is, you may join and become a member of the party, for example, the United Russia Party. But will you have the knowledge? The other people know, like Putin, Medvedev. They know what to do and how. They have the knowledge. And everyone else is the ballast. Seems everyone else in the party is there for no reason, just walking with the badge.
But at the same time, is there some kind of contact with...
Well, yes, I agree. I misunderstood the question a little.
Yes, good. Does know something?
Yes, she knows and has quite a lot of influence on her society, which accordingly strongly supports her.
I understood. Does know something?
I don't think I know so much about her. It seems to me that she is just starting, but at least she will be invited somewhere 100%. But now, probably not.
Does know something?
Yes, of course.
Okay, no questions.
Well, not knows, but is a member of a society. Let's rephrase a little. He doesn't know, but he is a member. Well, of course knows, but we will speak differently.
Does know something?
Well, of course, and knew before. And there is very strong background of both Masonic and Illuminati lodges.
Who, by the way, knows more, this character or the previous one, in your opinion?
This character certainly knows a lot more. Because let's just say, he was initially there, and his whole family was already there. Especially in America, rich families initially raise their children in a special way, and they get a certain feeling of hierarchy from childhood. When a person joins a clan at a mature age, at 35, 40, 50 years old, at this age he may do more mistakes. When a person has it all from childhood, he comprehends everything automatically. This is how it is. Further, he does not have any questions. Well, the last character is much stronger than the previous one.
Well, of course, I can't help but ask. Does know something?
He's in the clan for sure. Yes, and I think even not in one. Well, more precisely, I know that he is not in one. But does he have the knowledge? Well, he probably has.
Something somewhere.
But it seems to me more forgot rather than knows.
Okay, Ernst, does know something? Is French.
Well, if French, that means he is 100% some kind of Franco-Freemason. Surely he knows.
You've never heard of him, yeah?
I am poorly orientated in the world of music. If I saw him, I would probably recognize him. But without a visual picture, it's hard for me to speak. But surely yes. If you ask that way, surely and even more. She is not so simple herself. That is, I only know her story. There was a lot of sponsorship and a certain amount of contributions, and there was a very strong tie on one egregore that greatly influenced the minds of people. Those who do not know what era is. I just did not know the name of this person. But what era did was just, well, let's just say like the influence of the egregore on people on the earth.
That is, you mean, are not you confusing now? Don't you confuse era with anything?
Era? Well, this is the one who sang Doreen, right?
Dorme, Ameno, these are all, yes.
Yes, of course.
Tell us what the egregore was there. I'll just be honest, this is one of my favorite bands, and at least they influenced me.
They have a very positive effect. That is, it seems to me that time some kind of conflict started. And at that moment, a special attitude was set to help people become more enlightened. Such, an egregore of enlightenment. It was precisely for those who is not connected with this topic at all, and do not know anything about egregores, the music of Era was very soothing. It was such a violent opening of the seventh chakra, the violet one. Even now, when I listen to it, I simply feel how the flow of energy of the Absolute enters me. That is, you should just close your eyes. Let's do an experiment. We will switch on this music now, and you will close your eyes for literally 30 seconds. You will feel what kind of energy will enter you. It seems to me that for the last 100 years there has been no such energy in the world of music.
Great, good. And the last one I'll put in here, does know something, is from Enigma.
Yes, of course. These are also famous. Yes, I understand who it is. Well, I don't know much about the world of music, yes. They both, Enigma and Era, have very strong and influential people in specific organizations, and therefore, yes, these people know and have great weight there. And they were sponsored for a special purpose, big money poured in for their existence. A lot of money because they created a certain influence on the minds of people.
Do you mean the positive influence, Ernst, positive or not? Because today we are talking more about...
Sometimes positive, sometimes not. There is a balance. Pour into both positive and negative. And, it is like a lever mechanism, like on a tractor. Have you ever ridden a Caterpillar tractor?
No, unfortunately, no.
Do you know how it is driven? There are two levers. If you move two levers forward, then the tractor will go forward. But if one lever is moved backward, then the tractor starts to turn, respectively. So there you work with two levers. It is the same here. You create these control points first. You may press them further, but in order to create them, you need to pour in a lot of money. This is exactly what these societies are doing, sponsoring the creation of the levers and then pressing these levers. But accordingly, those who created these levers, the founders of those structures like Facebook or Instagram, and I now have such a clear suspicion that is being recruited very strongly into established secret societies now. Because now is gaining a very strong influence, and if he is not subjected to, you see, he escaped the power of, but he will not escape the power of influential structures, which are much stronger, because they have a stronger policy and no borders. That is, they can communicate with a person everywhere, and a person can be benefited with many bonuses, but also can get very big sticks in the wheels. Therefore, it seems to me soon he will also become a representative of one of the secret organizations, if he hasn't become already.
Ernst, thank you for this very, very informative conversation. It seems to me today all our viewers were extremely interested in hearing all this. Thank you for telling us all that you ventured to do it. I perfectly understood what we are talking about, and that was great. Thank you.
Friends, thank you for being with us. If for some reason I will be gone posthumously, like the video. But I hope everything will be okay until the next broadcast. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Put likes, share this video with your friends because we share extremely secret information, interesting one, and are trying to bring light to this world. Thank you, friends, for being with us.